weekly video blog. It's going to be a short blog this week because there isn't much to say except for two pieces of rather good news. The first is that the fall holiday is fast approaching. In fact, it is the week after next, which means next week is my last working week before 2 weeks off. Now, I haven't got any particular plans to go anywhere or do very much, although I have to say that the weather is not as bad as it should be for this time of year. So I'm thinking that there will be time spent on projects such as To the Ends of the Earth, and quite likely that I shall make big advances in Project Springboard. If you've been following that across my solstice reviews, you'll know that we're making headway in terms of the 5-year plan on that level. The other bit of good news happened this last week. So, about 5 years ago, about the time I started this weekly video blog campaign, which would be exactly 292 weeks ago, I was given free shares in a multinational and rather large company. These were free shares that were given to me. Now, I'm not one who really knows anything about buying and selling, stock market rubbish. So I did nothing. I just said, well, okay, thank you very much, and did absolutely nothing. The value of them when they were given out to me were very low, because obviously it was 2008, you just had the Wall Street wobble, with this company being based in the US. It was lower than everything else, it was actually in the foreground of what was going on. Which is probably why I was given them free in the first place, because usually you have to buy shares. Now, the idea is that you buy shares, you wait till the value of them rises because the company is doing well and the financial climb is doing well, and then you sell them so you get more money back than you did when you bought them. Now, obviously, any money I got back would be better because they were free shares. But I completely ignored them. In fact, I actually completely forgot about them, because all I would get would be an annual statement, or maybe it was once every 6 months, in fact. I think it was a 6-monthly statement of the share price and how it had changed. Now, these shares peaked. They started rising as things got slightly better, and they actually peaked in about the first half of this year. And that statement was what made me look, because I thought, oh, hang on, these shares are now becoming reasonably valuable, certainly more valuable than when they were given me. But they were beginning to drop by the time I had my most recent statement, which was maybe about 2 weeks ago. And I thought, they're on their way down, and the American government is playing silly beggars with the whole world. They went into shutdown, which didn't help with the financial climb, and they had something called a fiscal cliff looming, which basically meant they had borrowed a lot of money and they needed to keep up their repayment, and unfortunately that had to go through Congress. This is the same Congress that couldn't even decide a budget and put half its workers, unpaid for the best part of 2 or 3 weeks. What hope do we have, I said to myself, of them being able to restart their government and agree this all in a couple of, days? Absolutely none. So I thought, that is it. What I must do is cash these shares in now and get them before the value plummets. Now, it wouldn't be the end of the world had I decided not to do that and the share price still fallen, because the thing about this is that so long as the company doesn't go bust, it's peaks and troughs. If you can wait for several years, you'll find that the things will no doubt bounce back again. But I wasn't prepared to wait. A, because I thought this is a stupid amount of money, and B, because I sort of need it, actually. So I phoned I sought advice from people who I thought would know about this sort of thing, and I ended up phoning somebody in Rhode Island, in fact, called Lionel, and he told me how to do this online. Now, because they're obviously based in the US, you have to register as a non-US citizen to stop the federal tax from being taken, so I managed to do that. And then it was a case of them selling the shares, wiring the money over to a European bank, and that cost a certain charge, an administration charge obviously for selling the shares, and then the European bank would pay you a cheque out in sterling, which could be cashed in a normal amount of time for a cheque, about a week. If you pay in a cheque that's in foreign money, the bank has to go back to the original bank that the cheque came from, and that can take 2 or 3 weeks. So the cheque arrived on the day that the federal government was due to not manage to raise the debt ceiling and default. And out of the blue, they, in their 11th hour of excitement, declared that they had come to an agreement to raise the debt ceiling and reopen the government. Well, that was fine, but I couldn't take that risk. And I happen to think also that they shouldn't be congratulated for that, because they should never have let it get that far in the first place. And I'm telling you now, we wouldn't stand for the British government pulling a silly thing like that. It's ridiculous that the president can't set his own budget for a start, let alone having to go through. It's one of the only countries on the whole entire planet that has to somehow get a budget agreed by half a government that isn't part of the ruling, hasn't been democratically elected as the ruling party. But enough about that. As I do a sort of rant, if you want to sort of have a look on my thoughts and feelings about that. So the day after, I cashed the cheque. Now, I want to make it first absolutely clear that this windfall isn't a colossal amount of money. I haven't made my millions. I haven't made thousands upon thousands. But I also want to explain to you that even quite a low amount, okay, is a big thing for somebody like me who doesn't live on a lot of money as it is. Okay, the amount that I got was roughly 1.5 times a monthly wage for me. That is not enough to do, for example, I couldn't do ADT2 on that, the American Dreams Tour 2, which was a reasonable, which was sort of like a foreign holiday on a shoestring. I couldn't do that with this amount of money, okay, it's not that much. But to me, this amount of money is fantastic. Firstly, a big chunk of it is taken up with an exciting event going on next year, and I can't say any more than that. It's to do with the family, and you'll find out at the time. I'm also giving an amount to Sue, who's with me in the allotment, because she wants to put a greenhouse in, and it costs slightly more than she thought it would, and so by me sort of underpinning this, she can put in the amount that she thought it might be worth to begin with, and she wouldn't have to pay the excess. Now the rest of it I can either split into a few things, or I can do one big away trip. That sort of away trip is the money that I would be able to use on, say, a visit to a UFC event or something like that. If it was little things, I want to make absolutely clear that because I already have savings ongoing and in motion, I may use some of it to bump those savings up, but I'm not actually planning on saving this. This is free money that I am planning on spending. I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't made a decision on what's left, on what I'm going to do, which is about 2/3 of the original thing. But no doubt you'll know when I've when I've spent it all.